That up there is Sir Kenny Dalglish, or King Kenny as he's known to some. As a young boy he was a Rangers fan, but would go on to become a Celtic and then Liverpool hero. He's won European Cups and league titles as a player, and even extended his success into management, winning the Prem with Blackburn. As a youngster his talents were obvious, winning numerous schoolboy trophies in Glasgow. He was so good that he joined a local non-league club called Cumbernauld United. And yeah, before I get and have a look around Cumbernauld United, where I'm going to tell you a little bit more about King Kenny's earlier career as a player. If you want to find out more about players' careers, then do download OneFootball. It's the first link in the description box below, and I usually tell you about how you can follow teams and leagues on OneFootball, star them and get news on when anything happens with them. But for instance, let's take a player, Andrew Robertson, and search for him in the app. As you can see on screen just now, you can star players, and when you star Andrew Robertson, you'll be kept up to date when anything happens with him, if he scores, if he plays, if anything happens with him in the news. So yeah, you can follow players as well as teams and leagues on the app as well. And they've been so good at sponsoring me, and the more downloads I get, the more chance I have of making more videos like this one that you'll enjoy in the future. So yes, please do download it. It's completely free and it supports my channel, and it's a top quality app as well. And yeah, you can follow players like Andrew Robertson. I'm exploring Kenny Dalglish's career today, but yeah, keep up to date with other players' careers by downloading the app. Thank you very much. So yeah, stone's throw here from Broadwood Stadium, where I filmed a few vlogs from in the past. Cumbernauld United currently play here in the West of Scotland Football League, and they used to be a junior team, which is when Kenny played for them back in his early career. So yeah, now in the West of Scotland Football League, they play in with teams like Pollock and Troon and Kilwinning Rangers. And I'll show you some shots that I just got from inside the stadium. Just there was a gate open, a couple of people doing work and stuff, so I did just get a quick peek of the pitch and stuff. But this is where Kenny played some of his earliest football. So in his earlier years, I'm gonna just see if I can get another little view around here or anything of the ground. But look, just to give you a bit of context about where we are right now, just look, this isn't a massive stadium. This is in a kind of more rural setting here, just outside of Glasgow, where King Kenny grew up. And yeah, so he initially signed for Celtic in 1967, and that date will sound familiar to a lot of Celtic fans out there, but Jock Stein deemed him too young and that he wasn't ready for first team football yet, so he got loaned out to where I am now, Cumbernauld United. In an interview that I saw with Kenny online today, he said that it really toughened him up, and going from youth, like reserve football and stuff before, to come and play proper men's football, he said it took no prisoners. And so yeah, I guess it was a big part of his development to come and play here. And in his first season here, he scored 37 goals, and in his second ever match against, who was it against? Let me try and jog my memory. Against Yoka in a junior match, he scored 4. So that was his second ever match. He scored 4 in a 5-1 win against Yoka. And let's just get up here. Look, you can see, look at the stature of the man that we're talking about. It's Kenny Dalglish, and you can see what this level of football has done for players like that. Because look, would you get that level of player playing at this level now? Probably not. But yeah, just this level of football is legendary, and it's produced so many players. You think of, you know, Jock Stein and Billy McNeil at Blantyre Victoria and Kenny Dalglish at Cumbernauld United. This non-league junior level of football is huge, and it should be remembered for all the great players it's given, not just the Scottish game, but the world game. Jock Stein wanted Kenny to play here another year after that initial first year on loan, but Kenny Dalglish decided that he didn't want to stay here another year and wanted to try himself at becoming a Celtic player, a proper senior professional footballer, and he rejected the notion of staying here another year on loan, although that's what Jock Stein wanted. He played reserve football for that first year back at Celtic mainly, and yeah, started to prove himself in and around a great reserve team, including players that you'd recognise who have also gone on to become Celtic legends. But yeah, he mainly played resi reserve football in that season back at Celtic, but he did make his debut in 1968 for the Green and White Hoops against Hamilton Accies in the League Cup. Current capacity here on a match day, sadly, which wouldn't have happened for a very long time, is about 2,500. And yeah, like I was just saying up there, it is so amazing to think that, you know, a small team like this with a capacity of 2,500, not that I imagine they'd fill that out too often, have had a legend like Kenny Dalglish play for them, and Lee McCulloch as well, I believe, came through here. So yeah, a pretty big club. And look, you can see right in, look at that stand over there. A beautiful non-league stadium here. But yeah, back onto the story of Kenny Dalglish. Played here for formative years of his footballing life before, yes, making his debut against Hamilton in the late 60s. It's about time he got off to Celtic Park, and I told you a little bit more about when he really started to make his name as a footballer. And look at this, a rare sunny day today, and here I am now, outside the home of Celtic. The amount of videos I've filmed outside this place astounds me that I've still never seen a game here. I've been inside once for that restaurant visit, God, last year, probably like 6 months ago now. Doesn't seem that long ago, but it is, and yeah, I can't believe I've still never really properly been inside. But yeah, check out that Celtic restaurant vid if you want, it's a good one. But yeah, back on to Kenny. So he left Cumbernauld United on loan, and look, you can see, before I get into a little bit more of the Kenny story, look at all these legends that are on the side of Celtic Park and on the Paradise sign. There's another Paradise sign around the other side. I'm just trying to see if I can see Kenny on there. I don't think he's on this one. I think he's around the other one. So as I walk around there, I'll tell you more about, yeah, Kenny. So he left Cumbernauld with more experience, and now he was ready to kick on and play for Celtic. But yeah, in his first year or two at Celtic, he was in and out of the reserves and the first team, as he was, yeah, still trying to build his way into what was a legendary team. Of course, he joined and then went on loan to Cumbernauld United in '67, the year that they became Lisbon Lions. So off the back of becoming European champions and on a run of league titles that they were on, it was hard for Kenny to force his way into the team, of course, because of how good Celtic were. And Kenny was in the stands in January 1971 when Celtic went across Glasgow to play Rangers at Ibrox, and yeah, it was one of the worst disasters in world football, probably the worst in Scotland, the one that everyone knows about the most. And yeah, it was an awful day where 66 fans died in a stairway during an Old Firm match, and it wouldn't be the first time that Kenny was at a match where there would be an awful stadium disaster like that. There would be Heysel in '85 and Hillsborough in '89. He was such a hero during the Hillsborough '89 fallout, and yeah, we'll get into all that and his Liverpool time a little bit later in the video. In May of 1971, though, Kenny played in a testimonial at Kilmarnock Stadium Rugby Park for their legendary player Frank Beattie. And in that game, Celtic won 7-2, in which Kenny scored 6 goals. And that cemented his place in the team for the following season in '71-72. There's some work going on, but I'm sure you can still hear me. In that season, he established himself fully. He scored 29 goals in just over 50 games and helped Celtic to their 7th consecutive league title. He also played in the 1972 Cup final, where Celtic beat Hibs 6-1, although he didn't score on the day. In '72-73, he was Celtic's top scorer with 39 goals, as they went on to win yet another league title. He was even part of the team that got to the 73-74 European Cup semi-finals, where they unfortunately got knocked out by a very violent Atletico Madrid, and there's Bruni, by a very violent Atletico Madrid in the semis, and Atletico Madrid would go on to lose in the final against the great Bayern Munich side of Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller. Would they have, Celtic have gone on to beat them? I'm not sure. They were pretty dominant Bayern in the final against Atletico, so yeah, who knows. Kenny was made captain in '75-76, and by '77 he was sold to Liverpool for a British record transfer fee of £440,000. He scored 167 goals for Celtic in 320 appearances, but when he came back a few years or a year after his sale to play in a testimonial for Celtic's greatest legendary manager, Jock Stein, he was booed by the home fans. I'm sure that nowadays they don't harbour those kind of feelings towards him, but at the time the transfer was seen maybe as a bit selfish, and the fans didn't want him to go. Jock Stein wanted him to stay, but a British record transfer fee, moving to Liverpool, who were European champions at the time, chance to replace Kevin Keegan pretty much and become the new talisman for Liverpool, was something that Kenny just couldn't turn down, and he always wanted to win a European Cup, and Liverpool seemed like the best place for him to go. As, look at that for timing, I've just got to the end of my Celtic facts about Kenny, and they're 4th in from Jinky on the left. There's Kenny, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is Kenny Dalglish. They don't just put anyone on the side of these stadiums. You have to have done something pretty amazing for the club to be considered such a legend to go on the side here, and along with your Petrovs and your Johnstons, and there's Jock Stein around the other side, and Scott Brown and Henrik Larsson. as well as more Lisbon Lions and players of old. But yeah, Kenny, could he have become an even bigger legend and have a statue here if he'd have stayed here during those Liverpool years and emulated what he did at Liverpool, but with Celtic? Liverpool had just won the European Cup the season before Kenny arrived at Anfield, and it was their other number 7, Kevin Keegan, who had just left to go to Hamburg, who was the natural player that Kenny had to replace. Yeah, he was the choice of a player to eventually replace Kevin Keegan. He got the number 7 shirt, and it was an inspired choice of player by Bob Paisley. In his first season at Liverpool, it doesn't get much better than this. He scored 31 goals in 62 games, exactly 1 goal every 2 games, and scored the winner of the only goal in the European Cup final against Bruges at Wembley. Following the fallout of the Heysel disaster in 1985, Joe Fagan left as Liverpool manager. Despite the fact that 39 people were killed before the match, the game actually went ahead and Juventus eventually won due to a Michel Platini penalty. It was 1-0. After that fateful day in Belgium where so many fans sadly lost their lives and Joe Fagan resigned shortly after the game, King Kenny was made player manager of Liverpool. And in those 5 years after the Heysel disaster, English teams were banned from playing in European competition. Kenny would also play a key role in the fallout of the Hillsborough disaster 4 years later. Families of the 96 who died that day have had to fight for decades for justice for their loved ones. Initially blamed for the disaster, the fans' families had inquest after inquest after inquest to clear the names of those supporters who were there that day, and King Kenny was a huge part in that. He even attended numerous funerals of the 96 who died, even going to 4 in one day. So yeah, what he did in the wake of Hillsborough was absolutely heroic, and eventually it became too much for him, became too stressful, and he had to resign from Liverpool. But in his time there as a manager and as a player, he won numerous European Cups, he won numerous league titles, FA Cups, League Cups, and there's a generation of Liverpool fans out there who will say he's the greatest player in the club's history. And for people of my generation, I guess we'd say it's Stevie G. Having grown up with the players, I think you seem to have a bit of bias towards them as to like them being the best, and I think rightly so. A lot of people will say that King Kenny is the best player that Liverpool have ever had, and for obvious reasons he does have a stand named after himself at Anfield, which I'll include some shots of. I went and did the stadium tour last summer, first time I've been back to Anfield for a long time. I've been numerous times. I'm sure people, you've seen my scarf of all my badges on and stuff, and I've spoken about it before, the amount of games I've been to at Liverpool. And coming up now, look, on the side of Scotland's National Stadium, he's not just on the side of Celtic Park, but there he is, Kenny Dalglish. You can see him there with his arms aloft. I will run through what he did as a Scotland player as well, but I'll just tell you about when he left Liverpool. He left to go to Blackburn. In a nice twist of fate, he actually won the title as Blackburn manager on the final day of the season at Anfield. And yeah, another stadium that I've still not been able to get inside to the amount of vids I've filmed outside, but what a beautiful day. Look at that, the blue of the sky reflecting the blue of the Scotland national team. And look, there he is, King Kenny. He played at a couple of World Cups. That is something that a lot of Scottish players can't really say they've done, especially in more modern times. Of course, Scotland have qualified for the most recent Euros, but Kenny has played at World Cups, and he even scored in a game against the Netherlands in which Scotland won in the Argentina World Cup in 1978, and that is one of Scotland's most famous wins even to this day. He is Scotland's joint top scorer with Dennis Law with 30 goals. He is even the most capped player in Scotland history with over 100 games. And he was named a Sir not too long ago now, and I believe it was given to him way too late. People said that he should have become a Sir years and years before he did, but yeah, all the work he's done for the people of the cities of which he's played in, and the stuff that he's done for all the Hillsborough families and stuff. What an absolute legend, an absolute gentleman off the pitch by all reports as well. Someone I would love to meet one day, and an absolute legend of the game, King Kenny. Yeah, he's touched so many lives, from, you know, going to the majority of the Hillsborough funerals to, yeah, 4 in a day at one point as well. That level of commitment to the cause, I mean, I don't think you'd get that with too many other people, to be honest, and just such a legend. He's touched so many lives, mine included. He was the manager of Liverpool in the first ever occasion that and the only one to this day where I've seen Liverpool lift a trophy. It was the League Cup in 2012. Kenny had come back, taken over from the awful reign of Roy Hodgson, stabilised us as a club, took us to Wembley a few times that season. I went to 2 games at Wembley that season. One was the FA Cup semi, which we won against Everton. One was the League Cup final against Cardiff. We scraped a win in the end on penalties, but King Kenny gave me my first Liverpool experience at Wembley, and that was the first time Liverpool had played at the new Wembley as well. So yeah, Kenny, you've done a lot for a lot of people, and yeah, myself included. Please do remember to like and subscribe. Liking this video helps it to be shared and seen by more people. Subscribing means that you won't get kept out of the loop when I upload more videos. And also follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. They are in the description box below. I'm almost at 3,000 followers on Instagram, so please do go and follow me. I would really appreciate it. And I'm new to Twitter as well, so follow me on there as well. I only got it in January this year, so yeah, please do follow me on there. And yeah, do download OneFootball as well. First link in the description box below. Supports my channel, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed filming it. Nice just to come out in the sun actually for a while and avoid the rain. Hopefully a few restrictions are going to get lifted soon, whilst I still can film outside. I cannot wait to get back to games and start going inside stadiums and stuff as well. Like, this place has been shut for almost a year now, and the entire time I've been here in Scotland, I've filmed so many videos here. I feel like I deserve to get in there eventually, and surely soon enough that's going to happen. I'll leave some videos around my head as ever, so you can keep watching my content. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this one. I really do appreciate it. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.